everyone, I'm George and welcome to this video. Really proud to do this one, special aquascape for a special place called the Porch in Oxford. The Porch is basically a day centre for the homeless, so they can come here, they can eat and drink and socialise, do different classes. It's just a really cool place. It's an honour for me to come here and be able to create a brand new setup for them. So we've got this beautiful Oase Highline 125 litre aquarium and cabinet. Really nice. It's the first time I've seen one sort of set up in the flesh. Oase have kindly donated this to the Porch. I can't wait to get aquascaping. Let's go. First step is to install the substrate. We are using Tropica Aquarium soil. Been using this for years, proven performer. Feeds the plant roots. Ideal home for bacteria. Actually softens the water slightly, lowers the pH slightly, hopefully buffers it around about pH 6.5. Just a really good home for the plant roots, completely fish and shrimp safe, and doesn't need rinsing either, so super easy to install. With the soil you can experience some leaching of ammonia. You don't really get so much with the Tropica soil, but if you do, it's no problem. Just don't add any livestock until you're reading 0 ammonia, and the ammonia is actually going to help seed the filter with new bacteria, especially if you're using a new filter. It helps the cycling process. That's one 9 litre bag added, and then we're going to top off with a 3 litre bag, so 12 litres in total. So if this is your first time on my channel and you do enjoy aquascaping, then hit that notification bell and you'll get notified every time I upload a new video. Next step is to add our hardscape. Now I always go on about hardscape, and you guessed it, I'm going to go on about it again. It's the most important part of the aquascape. It's like the backbone. If you start off with a really strong hardscape, then you can very likely create a strong aquascape. If you have a rubbish hardscape or no hardscape at all, then it's really difficult to create a high impact aquascape. So I've got a couple of beautiful pieces of, I think this is called riverwood. I'll pick these up on the way here actually from our friends at the Reptile and Fish Centre. And I've got 2 pieces. We might not need the 2. It's a relatively small aquarium. It only measures 40 centimetre cube. These are obviously relatively large. So I'll just have a quick look and see which one I like the best. I think it's this one. It's got more features on it. And then we'll put that in there. And if we can fit the other piece in there, then we'll look at doing that. So before I put the wood in, I'm going to look at it and think, what's the most attractive side? What's the most natural looking way I could position this, and then go from there. So I think I quite like these strong vertical elements. It's a cube tank, which is obviously just as tall as it is wide, so it's important to accentuate this height. So I'm just playing around with the 2 pieces to try and make them look almost like one piece, so it looks really natural. You want to be aware of the wood too near the glass as well for when you're maintaining the aquarium. You want to leave a gap so you can get your toothbrush in there. Okay, so we've got a distinct kind of line, triangular kind of shape going on here. The 2 pieces are matched quite nicely, but we've got a real kind of empty area here. So that's either going to be filled with plants or the rock. I am mindful that the wood might want to float. It hasn't been pre-soaked for any amount of time, so I am going to probably put the stone around here to force it down. And these 2 are kind of interlocked, so hopefully by just weighing one down, it's going to help keep the other one down. This is called dragonstone, real popular material to work with in aquascaping. And what we're doing, we're trying to create a nature aquarium. So this is a term invented by Takashi Amano, sadly passed away in 2015. But it's all about this essence of nature and putting it inside the aquarium, which is what we're doing, using natural materials, live plants, and overall effect will be something quite beautiful and something for the guys here at the Porch to enjoy, help them relax, and just a great thing for everyone. So a little bit of a story about this tank and how this whole kind of event came into fruition. In Tropical Fish Keeping UK, 50,000 member celebration, I offered kind of rescape or a makeover, and loads of you, thank you to everyone that applied and gave their stories and pictures of their tanks, etc. And the winner was John Fitzpatrick, and that's why we're here. Now John had a really interesting story, and it really kind of struck a chord with me that he did escape in a homeless centre. And I thought, what a great opportunity to, using the power of aquascaping to help enrich people's lives, not just people that can maybe afford their own hobby and, in their own living space, but take the aquascaping to a living space where people are coming together, you know, in this kind of nice community vibe. It just really kind of made sense, and yeah, that's why we're here. So quite happy with the hardscape. Now it's time to plant. I want to give a special mention to our friends at Tropica in Denmark who are sponsoring this, as well as Oase for the tank as well. So I've got some beautiful plants in here. It's going to be like a classic low maintenance layout, lots of epiphytes, so Java fern, Anubias. We'll talk about all the plants in a minute. Top quality plants directly from the nurseries in Denmark. It's not even been opened yet, so you know, you can't get really as good quality plants. So, and that's a really important kind of a lesson there. You know, when you're setting up a new aquascape, try to use the freshest, most healthy plants possible. So have a chat with your local store owner or retailer, find out when they get their next delivery of plants in, and then get those plants because they're going to give you the best chance of success. So it's a bit of an unboxing video now, isn't it? That's cool. So I've got the packing list here. So we've got Anubias Petite, Microsorum Narrow, Cryptocorainae Wedentii Green, Crypt Parva, Crypt Albida Brown, Ludwigia Palustris, Vallis. Exciting. So let's prepare our foreground plants first. We've got Cryptocorainae Parva. This is a beautiful, really easy, slow growing foreground plants. We'll actually start to carpet, but you're looking at, in a non-CO2 tank, you're looking at probably over a year. And the labels are quite handy. The labels have all the information, how tall they grow, how fast they grow, and what lighting they need. These are medium category, so Tropica plants come in 3 categories: easy, medium and advanced. So these will need sort of moderate light. They'll do best with CO2 injection, although they won't absolutely need it, but they're in a nutrient-rich soil. John's going to be using a good quality liquid fertiliser on here. The lighting's pretty good. So I think there's 18 watts of LED over a 40 centimetre cube, which is our glass as a moderate light. So it should be plenty for these. Now what I do is tear the roots. This is going to stimulate new root growth and make planting easier. And I'll separate into individual portions. The more portions you separate, the more economical your coverage. You can take away any of the yellow leaves. These are basically unhealthy. Rather than the plant putting energy into repairing that unhealthy leaf, you want it to generate new growth, so you can remove it completely. Exactly the same process with the Cryptocorainae Albida Brown. You can see these roots are super long, super healthy, because the plants are actually grown in the nurseries in this, what we call stone wool, and you can see how healthy these are. So we definitely need to trim these roots back, otherwise planting is going to be quite challenging. So now it's a case of planting. Plant the Cryptocorainae Parva right at the front. This is the shortest plant. And what you can do to ensure even coverage, some of you might know this tip already, plant at one extreme and then the other, left and right, and then plant in between halfway, and then keep planting halfway each time and you'll get an even coverage. Okay, we've got an important plant now. This is Ludwigia Palustris, and it's one of the few red stem plants which will hopefully stay red even in relatively low lighting. Prepare it like before. I'm going to put this in the rear background towards the centre to act as a nice focal point plant. And it's really easy, really fast growing, ideal for new setups where you want the fastest growth possible to help avoid algae issues, which are really common in new setups. So you can see where the plant's been growing in this stone wool, and they're actually grown from tissue culture to start with, and then they propagate themselves in this rock wool, and so you get really, really dense planting. Whereas if you go to maybe another supplier from the Far East, you tend to get just cuttings inserted into the rock wall, and you don't get anywhere near as many plants, and they're probably not going to give you the best chance of success. Okay, so we're almost planted. We've put Cryptocoryne parva and Albedo brown in the foreground. We've got Wendell green in the mid-ground. And then we've got a mixture of Vallis snaria, Spiralis tiger and Ludwigia palustris in the background. Now it's time to use my favourite plants. You probably know what these are by now if you've watched my channel for any length of time. We're going to use some epiphytes. These are plants that attach to wood and or rocks. So we've got some Anubias petite and some Microsorum narrow. Now the great thing about this wood and rock combination is there's plenty of opportunity to just wedge these plants in, and then they'll find their own way. The roots will creep over the hardscape and attach themselves. So now it's a case of just finding out where the appropriate kind of nooks and crannies are, and you can literally just wedge. Okay, it's really important that we stop the plants from drying out, so give them a spray periodically. The Microsorum, the Java fir narrow varieties, particularly prone to drying out. So Vallis snaria is 100% aquatic, so if that dries out, it will die very, very quickly. Okay, so we're fully planted now, ready to move the aquarium downstairs. We're actually in a kind of separate room upstairs. Bit of a job, got to separate the aquarium from the cabinet, take them separately, obviously being careful not to move what's in the tank. And then we can set it up downstairs in the kind of communal area, kitchen area, where people can actually view it and enjoy it. So exciting times. So I hope you enjoyed that video, guys. A real special one for me. having the opportunity to aquascape for people much less fortunate than myself, and it really made me reflect a little bit actually on how kind of lucky I am and grateful I am to have, you know, my own beautiful home and family around me. And yeah, it was quite an emotional one, that. So if you did enjoy it, guys, give us a thumbs up, leave me a comment, and subscribe if you haven't already. And just a last thank you to Oase for sponsoring the event in terms of giving away the beautiful aquarium, the Oase Highline 125 with the Oase Biomaster Thermo, and also the LED lighting, and also to Tropica Aquarium Plants for supplying the beautiful aquatic plants and soil. Also, I want to shout out to the Tropical Fish Keeping UK Facebook group for organising the events. And last but not least, to John for telling his story so openly and giving us the opportunity to share his story and enrich these people's lives with aquascaping. You take care. Keep on scaping. Cheerio.